Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to Strip Club. Happy birthday, thank you. So here's our new Strip Club quilt. It's called I Heart You. Aww. Why is it called I Heart You? Because I do. I love you. We are celebrating, well, first of all, it's February here, so it's kind of fun that it's a Valentine's quilt, but mostly it's a heart because I do love you, because you guys have helped us be in business for 15 years as a retail quilt shop. So thank you. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't be here. So this, in a way, is my thank you to you, and I hope you make it and hang it on your wall and smile and know that somebody who owns a quilt shop in San Diego loves you for supporting the local quilt shop. So I heart you. It's really hard quilt. Let me show you the block. Are you ready?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right? I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted just telling you. That is the block. So you're going to start with 2.5-inch strips. The background is also 2.5-inch strips. So you can take a bundle that has some lights and darks and use just a strip club bundle or a strip bundle. Or you can buy a bundle that is mostly lights and a bundle that has the darks for the heart. You will be cutting your background into blocks as you do your print fabrics. Clearly the print fabrics go into the heart, and then the background pieces will become the outer part. All right, so here's your block. You're going to sew this quilt. First you're going to cut a bunch of rectangles, and then you're going to sew the quilt together in columns. The layout in the pattern is an excellent visual of how to make the columns. There's a certain number of background blocks and a certain number of print blocks for the heart. It is offset, and by that I mean the blocks look like bricks. They are offset exactly half. In order to do this, you need to start your background, every other background column with a half. Can you see that? I know. It's a white flannel board. We should have done a black background. No.
Put it on your red.
Okay, let me show you the full block. Put it on my red. Yes, I can do that. Okay, so here's a full brick. Here is a half brick. The first column starts with all full bricks to build down, and yes, the columns are pieced. So even the background fabric that's all the same background is pieced. There was probably a way that you can do it where it's all one piece, but I think visually you need to have that pieced background even if it is all the same fabric. So piece it. So the first column will be all background. You'll create a column of background. No, it's not. We don't have it all background. But the first column will start with a full brick, and then you'll build as the picture shows. The next column will start with, and you can't see it, that is a half brick. So it starts with a half brick, and by starting with the half brick and building out, building down, it drops the second column about half a step to create the bricks. This is the hardest part. I will use my knitting needle, my giant knitting needle, to show you what it looks like in the quilt. So it's symmetrical. So this column is the same as your first column. So you can make the two at the same time identical. Full, background, and then print, background. Next column starts with a half, full, and then you have your prints, and then you have your background down again.
And it ends with a half, right?
It ends, if it starts with a half, it ends with a half. And then they'll be the same. This is the same as column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't duplicate the middle one. You need that to be its own. Other than that, it's purely symmetrical. Really hard, right? The pattern is written for 3 sizes. This is the throw. We also have a wall hanging size, and we have a queen. The queen is fun because it's 4 hearts. And when I digitized it originally in EQ, I did 4 different colors, so it had a very Andy Warhol look to it. I think it'd be very cool. We also use the strips in border 2. So the pattern will tell you how to cut those. When you sew your columns together, you do not have to worry about your seams matching because they are all offset. You're welcome. So the columns are sewn together. We add border 1. Border 2, as I mentioned, is pieced from your strips, and that's counted in your strip count. So we've already calculated that in. Border 3, and then here we have this terrific red for the outer border, border 4. Whenever you look at our patterns, border 1 is always the first one you put on, and we build out from there. So border 1 first, then we add border 2, then we add border 3, and finally border 4 for this. And then you have the instructions, my favorite 4 words: layer, quilt, bind, and enjoy. We have any questions on this? Yes, ma'am.
How long does it take to make?
Well, the question is how long does it take to make? And that's always a tough one to answer because it depends on you. It depends on concentration level. It depends on interruptions. It depends on skill. It depends on how careful you go. It depends on beverages. Which, of course, means whether you drink coffee or water, right? That's what you meant, right? But I will tell you, it's not hard. This is a fast one. And Liz made this quilt for us, and I'm afraid I didn't give her much time. She got it done, she got it quilted, she got it bound. And then I said to her, hey, would you make another one? I think I called her up on Tuesday. Today is Saturday. I called her up on Tuesday. I said, hey, would you make another one? She said, why? What was wrong with the first one? I'm like, oh, no, it's really pretty. It's excellent. I just want to see it in another color. Yes. Yeah, you want to see it in another color? Yes. So not only did she piece it, she quilted and bound it too. So Tuesday to Saturday. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
I will say she doesn't drink. Would you like to see the other color?
Yes.
So earlier somebody asked me what my next collection of fabric will look like. So I get to show you both things right now. This is, make sure I get it right side up because you don't want a heart upside down. This is my next collection of fabric with Timeless Treasure. It's called Tonga Spa Day. Let's see if you can see why.
Oh, lovely. I actually like that better.
What I wanted to show you with this colorway, it doesn't have to be so red and pink with a white background, that you could very easily do this in your favorite color combination and make it a wall hanging, or make it a quilt that you put on the couch, or make it a quilt that you give to somebody who needs a little extra TLC or a little compassion or love. A wonderful baby quilt. It's a simple but elegant heart, I think. I mean, a little chubby, but this is coming soon. So you guys get a sneak peek on Spa Day. Not quite yet. All right, paparazzi, did you get it? Okay, one more. So this is called I Heart You. Thank you. And this will be the next collection, Spa Day. Ooh, I lost a half a brick. What is that expression, half a brick shy of a load? 1 brick. Oh, I'm half a brick.
In your case, half a brick.
In my case, half a brick. Is that a short joke? You know, we videotape these for YouTube, and every once in a while somebody recognizes me from our YouTube channel, like at Road to California or someplace not around here, because you guys all know me here. And they'll be like, oh, you're shorter than I thought. Yeah, I get that a lot. I get that a lot. So it is our, yes, ma'am.
I saw on a bumper sticker on a car, it said, "I'm not short, I'm fun-sized."
That should be my bumper sticker. I'm not short, I'm fun-sized. Oh, short. Being short in a crowd, we can zigzag through anything. The only thing is you leave your tall person behind you.
Everybody who's tall, follow me.
My husband's 6'2", so he's the one that's stuck back there, and I'm like, I gotta go back. So my friends, it is our 15th birthday anniversary. Thank you very much. I'm very proud, and I do think that it's something to celebrate. So I didn't want to ask you guys to give me presents. So I thought I'd give you presents. So I have in here 15 presents that we'll raffle off to you guys, our locals, when we're done videotaping. But I want to show you what it is I'm raffling off. I didn't just go in the back and pick 15 fat quarters. I thought, if I'm going to do a raffle, I'm going to raffle off 15 of my favorite things. You want to see what some of my favorite things are? Okay, don't get excited. It's not a dream machine. It is not a koala cabinet. Those are my favorite things, but I'm not raffling them off for you. So some of my favorite things. First, this is just so appropriate because it's 2.5-inch strips in one of my favorite collections called, it's True Love, Tonga True Love. Well, I had Romance, which was so similar. It had this beautiful blue in it. So this will be one of the presents. You may win this. Does everybody here in the audience have a raffle ticket? Yes. Okay. If you don't have a raffle ticket, we'll get you set up later. So 2.5-inch strips, because that's what we do. True Love. It goes with the love theme. And speaking of the love theme, this is not a sandwich. This is a color wheel pincushion. And here's what it looks like made up. Is that adorable? I love this because a friend of mine gave this to me in my first collection of fabric, and it sits on my sewing table, and I use it all the time, and every time I smile. So you can make this. Look at them. The feet are drawer pulls. So you just go to your local hardware store / Target, find some drawer pulls, and just put them on. All you have to do is add the fabric and make the pincushion. So that's one of them. This is Mary Ellen's Best Press. You guys use Mary Ellen's Best Press? Yes. Mary Ellen's Best Press is a light starch spray. It doesn't get flaky like starch does, and it smells nice. And smell is very important. I finally got a little sewing room of my own. And my husband's not a smell guy. Like, we don't have candles around the house. But in my room, I can use nice smelling stuff. So this is my aromatherapy when I quilt. Anytime I have to press something, which, I press almost everything before sewing, I use Mary Ellen's Best Press. It comes in multiple fragrances. I think this is Caribbean, which is my favorite. What is this? This is Hugo's Amazing Tape. Do you guys know Hugo's Amazing Tape? No. It is like a thick packing tape that's not sticky. It sticks to itself. So when I use the Sue Spargo Razzle or Dazzle thread that just kind of wants to just slip right off of the spool, to keep it on, I cut about that much Hugo's Amazing Tape and wrap it on the thread. It doesn't stick to the thread, but when the plastic hits the plastic, it sticks to itself. So now that spool is tight. It's transparent, so you can see right through it. It has a gazillion uses. It's not just a quilty thing. We just happen to like it for quilty things. It's excellent for thread that wants to come off of your spool, and for many other reasons. But it doesn't stick to itself, and you can reuse it. Hugo's Amazing Tape. And it is. It is amazing. It's so tiny. I've never been able to use a thimble. I don't get it. It doesn't fit on my nail, it comes off, I can't get it right. I use this thimble pad. It's a little like leather circle with sticky back, and I just put it on that one spot on my finger that I always use to push the needle through. You know, the one that will get bloody if you don't use something because you keep pushing that needle through. So you can reuse these. I know because there's actually 2 on my phone on my desk. Because I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with this? I'll just put it here until I need it again. And then I guess I did it again because there's 2 of them. They can be reused. Eventually the sticky wears off, but this is a great thing to use instead of a thimble because I can't use thimbles because I don't know how. Thimble pad. Aurifil thread and bobbin clips. Oh, how does a bobbin clip work, you ask? A bobbin clip goes into a spool of thread and clips your bobbin, ideally with matching color, so that you can store both the thread and the bobbin together. It just looks like a big blue hairpin.
Yeah, they work great.
They're terrific. There's 3 different colors. So I'm giving you my favorite thread, Aurifil, in my most practical color, and then 3 bobbin clips. What's next? My latest collection of fabric, Fireside, in 5-inch squares. Fireside is hanging up on the wall, off to my right shoulder. That is last month's presentation, strip presentation, square pegs. So here's 5-inch squares of Fireside. Chopsticks. Okay, no, not really chopsticks. They are applique tools. They are surgical steel. They're fantastic. I'm finding more uses for them than just simply applique, like using it as a stiletto or poking through things. Or, no, I don't use them as chopsticks. There's 2 different sizes. One has a little more weight to it that you use in your non-dominant hand, and then a sharper one that you use with your dominant hand. It has a fork on one side. She's got a brilliant video and a brilliant technique for turned edge applique using these applique tools. And I've had a great time using them, so these are one of my favorites. Once upon a time, I probably shouldn't say this, we used to call these the $10 pins. They're more than $10 now. You remember, we've been open 15 years. These are fine quilting pins. A nice fine quilting pin makes life much easier when you're quilting. So these are by Clover, my favorite fine quilting pins. This is my new joy, handwork with wool. Linda Holden's smiling at me because the wool world is new to me. This is a little package that is a business card or gift card holder that you can make, and you can embellish with some stitching, some stitchery on the outside part. So beautiful blue with some Sue Spargo Dazzle thread. This is by our friend Gudrun from GE Designs, and these are little repositionable arrows that you can use on your rulers. Because face it, how many times have we used the wrong line? Not the first time we cut something, but the second time. That's when we go to the wrong line. So you can put a little arrow onto the line of your ruler, and you'll know exactly where you're going. Oh, Kathy Giles, will you bring me your handbag that says handmade on it? These are darling. If you do any bags or zipper pouches or anything of that nature, if you want to make it look more upscale, embellish it with something that says handmade or add a zipper pull to it. It classes it up. Looks like it's a finished good, that's something you bought at Macy's. So Kathy is bringing us a couple of examples that show off the handmade, right? That's what you're doing? So here's a zipper bag, and she added this little embellishment that says handmade. Is it hard to put in?
No.
Not hard.
Very easy.
And then the zipper pull. It classes it up. So those are some of my favorite things.
Very cool.
Tape measures are rarely long enough for a quilt. Have you noticed? Yeah. This one is 10 feet. Oh, wow. It's retractable, and it locks And it's a carabiner. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
It's a weird word, so weird to me. Carabiner. So it attaches onto whatever, your backpack. You can take this when you climb the Himalayas. Very handy. And then my final thing is these wonderful scissors by Kai. Don't we all have our favorite scissors? Mm-hmm. Don't we wish all scissors cut like that? Mm-hmm. So Kai scissors are my new favorite scissors. They're fantastic, they're sharp, they feel good, they make a project easy to do. This is the smaller size, I think it's the 4-inch. This is great for detail work, especially with the wool applique that I'm doing. So these are Kai scissors. So this is my gift to you. So those are my favorite things. And we'll raffle them off in just a little bit. And I wanted to thank you again for helping us be open and have a wonderful time for 15 years. We have 3 cakes in back that say happy 15 years. And I kind of wanted to turn it around and say 15 happy years. So thank you for being so great for us for 15 years.